In a forest where time seemed to stand still, bathed in the silver glow of a full moon, stood a donkey named Silas. The trees whispered ancient secrets and the stars watched like a million silent eyes. To most, Silas was just a humble beast of burden, a creature of habit and simplicity. But under the moon's watchful gaze, he was a philosopher, a silent observer in a world that never stopped talking. One night, the forest's usual peace was shattered by a fierce argument. Leo the lion, with his thunderous roar, claimed his strength made him the rightful king of the night. Vixen the fox, quick-witted and sharp-tongued, argued that cunning and cleverness were the true measures of power. Horatio the horse, proud of his speed and grace, insisted that swiftness was the ultimate virtue. Their voices echoed through the clearing, each animal desperate to prove they were right. They postured and boasted, their egos clashing like antlers in a duel. Silas, standing a short distance away, simply chewed on a thistle, his large dark eyes reflecting the moon. He listened not to their words, but to the growing tension, the pride that blinded them to the beauty of the night. The fox noticed his silence. "And what about you, old mule?" she sneered. "What great virtue do you possess? Stubbornness?" The lion and horse laughed. Silas blinked slowly, his silence a stark contrast to their noise. He didn't need to prove anything. He already knew who he was. Their argument grew louder, drawing unwanted attention. Deep in the shadows, a pair of glowing eyes watched a wolf, drawn by the commotion. The wolf was a creature of opportunity, and the bickering animals were an open invitation. Silas saw the flicker of movement in the darkness. He felt the shift in the air, the cold breath of danger that the others, lost in their pride, completely missed. He knew arguing was pointless. To shout wolf would only cause a panic, and they wouldn't listen to a lowly donkey anyway. Their egos were a wall he couldn't break with words. Instead of joining their battle of wills, Silas chose a different path. He lowered his head and began to walk away, calmly and deliberately, toward a dense, thorny thicket he knew was impenetrable. His retreat was not an act of cowardice, but one of profound wisdom. He chose safety over being right, peace over an argument. Horatio the horse snorted in derision. "Look, the coward runs! He knows he cannot win this debate." Leo the lion roared in agreement, his chest puffed with victory. "He is weak. Only the strong remain." As they celebrated their hollow triumph, the wolf emerged from the shadows. Panic erupted. The lion's roar was now one of fear, not pride. The fox's clever words were useless against sharp teeth. The horse's speed was little match for a surprise attack in a confined space. It was chaos. They had been so focused on winning their argument that they had failed to see the real battle approaching. From the safety of the thorny bush, Silas watched the frenzy. He felt no satisfaction, only a deep sadness for them. He had seen the danger, but their need to be right had been a closed door to his wisdom. The wolf eventually retreated, having caused enough chaos and injury. The forest fell silent once more, but this time the silence was heavy with regret and pain. The lion's pride was wounded, the fox's wit had failed her, and the horse's grace was marred by fright. As the moon began its slow descent, Silas emerged from the thicket. He walked past the humbled animals without a word, his steps slow and steady. There was no "I told you so" in his eyes, only a quiet understanding. They watched him go, no longer with mockery, but with a dawning respect. They finally understood. He hadn't lost their argument. He had won a battle they didn't even know they were fighting, the battle for peace, for safety, for life itself. The forest learned a powerful lesson that night. A lesson whispered on the wind and reflected in the moon's soft light. Not every battle needs a victor. Sometimes the greatest victory is knowing which fights to walk away from. Wisdom doesn't shout to be heard. It acts quietly to survive. As Silas disappeared into the trees, a final thought settled over the clearing. As clear and bright as the moon itself. Being right might win you the argument, but being wise will save you. Always be wise, not right.